Welcome to a very special edition of Pensare Basketball. We got my man RaptorShaq here, Steve. You know Steve. If you've been listening to my content recommendations, I've told you to check out his videos. He does great stuff. And if you haven't heard my recommendation, then you've certainly seen Steve on your timeline. That's him. That's the guy. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me on, and thanks for the lovely introduction. I really appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So in today's episode, we're going to be breaking down the 2025-2026 Toronto Raptors, one of the most polarizing teams in the NBA. Analysts have us everywhere. They have us finishing outside the top 10. They have us going to the conference finals. They have us winning 44 games, 38 games, 32 games, tanking for AJ DeBonsa. So, man, it's a lot of confusion over this team, and I think a lot of it stems from narratives around the expense of the starting five. Does it fit? Will Ingram be healthy? So, through this conversation, we're going to take Karen Hall saying, "Hi, Rob and Steve. Our community is awesome."
Hi,
So,
Karen.
Ryan saying, "Raptorshaq, my guy." I'm gonna adjust these comments so they don't look so big. But anyways, so we're going to go through 13 questions, and we're also going to take member questions. So if you're a Pensare Basketball member, please submit your questions. I'm going to star them, and we're going to rapid fire them at the end. But I want to start with a really good question, which is one thing you like and don't like about every single Toronto Raptor during preseason so far. So we played 6 games, we won 4. We almost squeaked away that one yesterday, which would have been probably heartbreaking for a lot of people who were coming off the Jays loss. And they're like, no, not my Raptors squandering an 18-point lead to the Brooklyn Nets. So let's just go through the roster and just quickly say one thing you like and one thing you don't like about every single player. And we'll start with Scottie Barnes.
Yeah, so probably one thing I noticed and just right away loved was him starting the break. He's getting those early grab and goes. He's getting that ball up right away, and it's like blends perfectly into the transition style that it sounds like they want to really play. So I really love that. And then what I didn't like up until last night's game was a lot of his offensive process. It felt like he was settling, and it felt like he was not really playing to his strengths.
Okay, let's go to Brandon Ingram.
Ingram, I mean, he is every bit the scorer that we were billed. I'm loving his, but the thing that I liked the most was noticing his timing on passes. There were a couple of good breaks and breakouts and transition and stuff where he does exactly what you need, where he just waits until the exact moment, dump off at the right time. And I think messing up those plays is a big reason why the Raptors transition field goal percentage was so bad last year, is because they would be dumping at the wrong time and you'd get a worse shot than you probably should have. So I really like that from Ingram. And then probably what I didn't like where there were a couple times where the ball stuck a little bit more than you'd probably like it to in Darko's offense.
That's fair. How'd you feel about his defense? I don't want to hijack this by leading questions, but how'd you feel about his defense?
It was a lot better last night, but it's against the Nets. But yeah, I felt like his off-ball defense was a little bit wishy-washy here and there. And I mean, even last night, Michael Porter Jr. got him for some buckets pretty easily. So yeah, I don't think I expected much more from his defense, but yeah, I didn't love it. What about you?
I was surprised by his commitment to the scheme, at
That's true.
least
Yeah.
trying to get into the right place. I liked his tenacity on the glass.
Hmm.
So overall, like I saw him jump out of area for a few rebounds, and that
That's
was a
true.
big complaint that I had with him in New Orleans. I expect him to be efficient, inefficient, efficient, inefficient.
Yeah.
You know, that's his shot diet. He takes a lot of hard shots. Anyone who's gonna crucify him at the end of the year for, shooting a poor percentage, like, please understand he's going to have probably the highest or second highest shot difficulty on this team.
For sure.
And when
Yeah.
you have those types of shots and you grant that type of attention, people have to be a little bit more forgiving that he's not going to shoot Jakob Pertl percentages. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so let's go to RJ Barrett.
I don't know percentage wise, but it seemed like he was knocking down a lot of catch and shoot threes. And that's a role that he has to fill to stay in that starting lineup. So I love that. Things I didn't like, I mean, he's still kind of falling asleep on some off ball defense. And I don't know. Like, I mean, I have such low expectations on that end. But yeah, I don't know. I think he played well most of the games. I don't have too many like drawbacks. I like the way he played off of Ingram. And yeah, so overall, I think he had a pretty good preseason.
Yeah, I think he did really well in terms of like just playing within the flow, cutting.
Yeah,
Darko's talked a lot about Bruce Brown in the past. He's like, "Oh, I love Bruce Brown." I wonder if one of the greatest gifts that Bruce Brown gave was being in the same gym as RJ Barrett for an entire
it's
year, so
true.
RJ could pick up on stuff with him. And yeah, let's go to Emmanuel quickly.
IQ, I liked his defense and like basically his commitment to the defense and his effort on defense was very, very high, especially out of the gate. He's always been a guy who kind of chases around screens and gets active, but I really liked his activity. I think it was clear that, I think he said that he really worked on it over the summer, and I think it was pretty clear that he had. And then in terms of dislikes, I still think he's maybe forcing a bit of some of the shots up in the lane. I don't
Mhm.
know if I've seen that floater fall where he really drifts off to the right and tries to touch it off glass. He can get some whistles off of it, but um, his ability to shoot and everything, I'd like him to be taking more attempts from three versus drives to the net, basically.
Okay. How'd you feel about his like overall floor court mapping and transition?
I still think that he struggles with some of these downhill passes and like the the two-man game with Scottie worked and didn't work. But there were a couple of times where he just gave him these passes way too low or way too late. So I would like him to be a bit crisper on that. What about you?
Yeah, I think there was a stat that Samson dropped about low value and high value assists. And
Yep.
ironically, Emmanuel quickly was like number one or number two in the league in low value assists in terms of
Yeah.
like overall percentage. Yeah, he's not the most skilled passer. If I
Yeah.
had to rank out the passers in the starting lineup, I would say it would be Scottie, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, then Emmanuel quickly. It
Honestly,
is
yeah.
a strange, weird world to live in where where you're, very ball dominant point guard is your
Yeah.
fourth best passer. I
It's
can't think of
true.
another team where that's true. I
No,
think that
honestly,
speaks to the strength of the dearth of playmakers that Toronto has,
it's very
right?
true.
And that's partially due to how Darko has developed these guys. I think Darko has turned RJ into a better playmaker. I think,
Definitely.
and I think Scotty, of course, has always been a really good playmaker. But
Mhm.
and then of course the fifth is Jakob, who
Yeah.
is okay, but certainly no poor man's Domantas Sabonis, as Darko
Yeah.
likes to say. Like we're gonna use him as a hub. It's like good luck with that offense.
Yeah.
You're gonna be at 78 offensive rating for a really long time with that shit. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be really tough. But yeah, like overall, I think the passes are very off target.
Mhm.
They're often missed. Like he will miss clear advantages on the opposite side of the floor. He makes up
Yeah.
his mind way too quickly.
Yeah.
And I really don't like how he consistently rejects screens.
Yeah. I'm totally cool with him bringing the ball up. That's great. That's fine. But I do think he should get off the ball quicker and like play to his strengths as being this off ball guy who flashes out and gets these catch and shoot threes. That'd be perfect. And you get the ball in Scotty's hands, you get the ball in Ingram's hands earlier and let them work, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. To everyone asking about the link for Steve's channel, this is the link to Steve's channel. You should definitely go and subscribe.
Thank
My
you.
hope is that every single time we get a guest on here, that we are able to like amplify their subscribers by like 200-300.
Yeah.
I always do it. We did it for my guy John D when he came on, and I was like, I'm very happy because again, like I one of my biggest goals, despite the reputation, is positivity. Okay. The reputation ain't positive, but I promise you deep down, I'm a very positive person and a life
I've
affirming and optimistic person. So my goal is obviously like when you subscribe to a channel that it puts good things on your timeline. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like I think you're doing good work and I think
Thank
our,
you.
our members would really like it.
I appreciate that a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah. No, my pleasure. Jakob Pertl. Good, bad.
I mean, the bad is the availability. Um, he's like obviously you're not going to force him to play in preseason when he's banged up. It's unfortunate that he broke his nose, all that. But it's really bad for the team if he doesn't play. So that's like a little concerning. I'm hoping he has a nice healthy year, and I'm hoping that this is just like it's pretty funny that the second he turns 30, he's got back problems. But hopefully it's nothing serious. And then the good, again, it's small sample, but I think he did a decent job of working some two-man game, and he's a good interior presence, and his floater is still going to be his floater, which is great. Like he's a high volume floater center. He's kind of unique in that way. I think when I tracked it before, he took more floaters than Jokic did on the year, but like 15% worse field goal percentage. But so I think that's pretty interesting. Yeah, honestly, I wish we could have seen more to have more of a sample of it.
Among the top paint finishers in the league, he and
Mhm.
Jonas Valanciunas are unique in that they don't dunk.
Yeah.
Everybody else is a dunker. Like Nick Claxton is a dunker. Guys
Yeah.
like this, they're big time, like at the rim finishers. So I think it would probably be a great thing if he dunked the ball a little bit more. I
Yeah.
really love that little corner three that he hit last year. I've
Yeah.
always wondered, like, for a player with such good touch around the rim, why was he never able to form like a little jumper from the corner?
No, for real.
Like I was very, very publicly against this trade when it went down. I
Mhm.
crashed out,
As was
lost my
I.
mind,
As was
and I
I.
just could not believe that we were giving up the chance to tank for Wemby in order
Yeah.
to, chase 41, 42 wins.
Yeah,
That being
exactly.
said, as I dug into his growth in San Antonio as a rim protector, playmaker, things that maybe he didn't have as much a chance to show in a less featured role in Toronto as a
Yeah.
backup to Jonas Valanciunas in Nick, Nick Nurse's not Nick Nurse's offense, more specifically in Dwayne Casey's offense, which wasn't always the most sophisticated.
Yeah.
I thought that he had a little bit of Duncan in his game.
Mhm.
He's like a very, very homeless, soup kitchen, meth addicted Duncan, like I don't want to put it in the air that I'm comparing him to Tim Duncan, but there were a lot of similarities in how they operated on the court and
Yep.
stuff. And so I often wondered, like, how will that work with Scottie? How will that work
Mhm.
with guys who need that space on the court? And then
Yeah.
the more I watched Tim Duncan, I'm like, well, Tim Duncan was able to work with those people because he was so smart off the ball. He was such a good
Yeah.
screener. He was always able to get himself out of the way, screen away. Sometimes when Yak is in the paint, he'll actually screen his man so that
Yeah.
the guy driving to the rim will have an open dunk. So,
Yeah.
when you're super smart and you're a really good finisher, it's really hard to be a bad spacer, even though you can't shoot threes. So I'm not as worried about Jakob Poeltl occupying space, but
Yeah.
it's not too hard to see that the Raptors work very well with Sandro Mamukelashvili, who is the next
Oh,
player I'm
yeah.
talking about. Good and bad of Sandro.
Sandro, okay. I guess the bad is his shot not always falling, but like he hit enough threes for me to be a full believer in it. And he's got some wiggle, like he can take a close, like he can get some hop off of closeout, attack that. Good passer. He's been more than I expected, and it's just such a good pickup so far. Like a perfect Darko player, really, right? So really excited to see how he fits in that lineup.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe he led all Raptors in plus minus. Not that plus minus is always the greatest stat, but it
Yeah,
really tracked with the eye test. Like every single time
definitely.
he came on, his ability to put the ball on the court, his ability to make quick reads, his ability
Yep.
to, at least be passable and participate on defense. I realize
Yep.
he's not a rim protector or anything like that. The idea that this guy went for a minimum contract.
I know. And I've already seen Spurs fans quite upset that they lost him, right? Like I mean, like they got Cornet, they filled some holes and stuff like that, but I've seen them very upset, being like, "How did we let this guy go?" Because he's.
Cornet or Sandro, if you could pick.
I think for the Raptors, I'd take Sandro. I think we need the shooting and we need the kind of off the ball. But I mean, like Cornet shoots and stuff well too, right? Like honestly, I try not to watch too many Celtics games, so I didn't pay it that much attention to Cornet before.
Try not to watch too many Celtics games. It's funny. Okay.
I'll probably see more because I'll definitely watch a lot more Spurs games. So we'll see what I
Right.
think of that. What about you? What do you think?
I think having Cornet would have pretty much eliminated the need to extend Jakob Poeltl to this contract that we just signed him to, and probably would have been able to ship him for something. But at the same time, I'm a really big Sandro fan, like irrationally high, like Christian Coloco circa 2022 high. Like I'm
I was on that same wave.
Yeah, man. I have hopes, man. I have hopes.
Yeah.
And he's the one guy. He's the one guy who finally made it through, from the Juancho Hernan Gomez, Joe Wieskamps, Svi Mihailuk. You know what I mean? Like
all these guys that I
who
bought
come in
in
as shooters.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they're going to solve the spacing problems. Damari Carroll, Lamont Murray. Dude, I can go down the list of NBA history. Hito Turkoglu. Like,
Yeah.
there was this period of time where the Raptors just could not find a small forward. I don't know
Yeah.
how long you've been a Raptor fan, but I've been a Raptor fan long enough to remember that there was this time where like the Raptors just could not find above league average small forward. There was like a flash in the pan of Peja Stojakovic. There was a flash in the pan of Sean Marion, a little bit of Jamario Moon sprinkled in there, a little
Right.
bit of
I
Sonny
remember,
Weems,
yeah.
but man, it was hard to find a starting small forward. And now it's kind of funny because you're literally starting 3 starting small forwards together. So I mean,
It's
you know,
true.
shit changes.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from Sandro. How about our big rook, Colin Murray Boyles?
I have loved Colin Murray Boyle so far. Like, he was awesome in the summer league. That was fantastic to see him like, he didn't have it going every game, but he's trying to find his way and fit in and everything. But his defense, as advertised, those hands, heavy, disruptive. He plays so mature, which is like kind of as expected when you see what he did at South Carolina. It like wasn't a very good team around him, very much took a leadership role. Love that. I love his quiet confidence. That's fantastic. And I really liked him taking threes and stuff. What would be my downside? Honestly, that's kind of tough for me. What would be what you didn't like about him?
That he got injured twice.
That's true. I mean, it like it's so hard to be like with these contact injuries and stuff like that. It's like, is it prone and everything? But if he can't stay healthy, that would be a big issue when like he's still tuning up his fitness. He could probably move a little quicker on the court, everything. He's walking around a little heavier than he probably will be mid-season. But that's fine. Guys are tuning up. That's okay.
He's lost a lot of weight since the draft combine. Like I
Yeah,
spoke to
right.
a scout who was at the draft combine, and he said CMB. So this is a direct quote from him. He said, "I expected CMB to be disappointing at the draft combine. I'm disappointed by how disappointing he is." So, like, that was the tail of the tape in terms of CMB at
Right.
the draft combine. It's completely opposite with Scottie, where Scottie came to the draft combine and literally ripped like
He
everyone. Like,
killed
he
it.
killed it, right?
Yep.
His pro day was insane. People were like,
Yep.
"Oh my God, this is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He jumps so high. His hands are
Yep.
so big. He's in such great shape. He's added a jumper, la 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 la."
Yep.
With CMB, it was like sluggish, slow moving. The shuttle run wasn't great. It's like a lot of the athletic testing stuff just didn't work. The
Mhm.
thing I love about him is he just knows how to play basketball. It
Definitely.
sounds
Yep.
so funny when you
Yeah.
say that a professional basketball player just
Yeah.
knows how to play basketball, but to anyone who thinks that that's funny, go watch Precious Achiuwa play basketball. You know,
Yeah.
like
A
it's
lot of
just
guys, it's just their athletic ability that kinda has them there versus their actual brain, right?
yeah. So I look at upside downside with CMB, and it's just like the downside is basically non-existent. Like,
Yeah.
he will at worst case be an awesome role player off the bench, and at most he could morph into an all-star.
Yeah.
And if he does morph into an all-star, it'll require him to become a better shooter. It'll require him to tighten up his handle, clean
Yep.
up some of his fouling, really carve out like an accelerated growth on defense, like where he can do that while not breaking down. I
Yep.
think like he's a really high motor defender, and perhaps really, really mold that dribble drive game that he's
Mhm.
got, because he is really good at it.
Yeah.
He can compact his dribble, and a lot of people really overemphasize on this idea of beating your man off the
Yep.
dribble, right? You don't have to beat your man if you can beat your man.
Mhm.
You don't have to go around the guy if you can go through the guy. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
yep.
Like,
Yep.
Shaquille O'Neal ain't getting around you. He's going right over you, or he going
That's
through
right.
you, right? Vince Carter
Yeah.
doesn't need to go around you. He go right past you and right over you, right? So
Yep.
there's different ways to get to the basket, but CMB has a path to get to the basket. He has the broad shoulders. He is very, very strong. And
Yep.
that base, dude,
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry,
Yeah.
man. He
Yeah,
got
and
he's like 6'7" Kyle Lowry build.
yeah, and, like, he likes to, like, attack face up, like, he's not so shy about his handle that he's immediately turning his shoulder and now he's trying to like, no, he's like, "I'm going right at you, I'm attacking right at you," and, like, there are people concerned about his size and stuff like that, and it's like, well, just because he kinda had to play this really small ball 5 in college, that's whatever, but, like, at the combine, he was essentially OG Anunoby sized, and I never once thought OG was too small to guard a center, to play a 4, play a wing. It's like that is completely fine NBA size, and like I see no downside.
Okay, let's go to Grady Dick.
Okay, so Grady, shooting wise, he was fantastic, right? Like I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think he was incredibly efficient, right? I thought he was, or did he cook it one game and lose it?
He was 2 for 7. Hold on, let me
Like
see. Let
for
me see here.
three?
No, he definitely wasn't efficient. So he
Oh,
shot
okay.
he shot 40%, 33%, 36%, and 25% across 4
Okay,
games.
so I must have been looking at just like one game or something, but it's I
None of
mean
these
it's
games were efficient.
oh no.
So
Well, it's weird with him. It's like
wait a
he's
second. No. No, 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 no. I'm mistaken.
okay.
Hold on. I'm looking at regular season last year. My
Okay.
bad.
No worries, no worries.
What am I doing here?
No
What?
worries.
Game log. Okay, wait a second.
Well,
Why
it's
can't I
good.
find
It means
why
that I
can't
wasn't completely lied to. Are you looking off of NBA stats? Because they are all over the place.
No, I was just looking at frigging ESPN, and they typically have the last 4 games played, but for Grady they just don't. It's weird.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I do not remember Grady's stats in the preseason, but I will definitely have them for tomorrow's live. But yeah, today I don't have them.
Yeah, I don't remember whose tweet I saw, but I thought he was like decently efficient. Um, but I guess I still don't like his defense. I still think that that is what is going to be keeping him off of the floor. It seems like for now he's won that, if there ever was a battle that won the battle between him and Jacoby, but Ochai is still coming into the game often before him because
Mhm.
he offers more of that two-way play, which the Raptors are looking for, right? So I do believe Grady's working on his defense, and I do believe that like the effort is there and stuff, but that's still obviously I think going to be a fault for that. But yeah, I liked his aggressiveness on offense, and assuming what I saw was correct, I thought he was decently efficient.
So he was 6 for 7 against the Sacramento Kings, but that
Okay.
bounced out 1 for 6 the previous game,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that kind of like one efficient, one not efficient. Against the Boston Celtics, he scored 22 points
Yeah.
in 24 minutes on 8 for 13 shooting, which was very efficient. So yes,
Yeah.
he was remarkably efficient in those 3. Like overall, if you break it down over those 3 games, he was very efficient. Against the Wizards, which I'm literally pulling these up one at a time, he did not. He was 2 for 5, which
Yeah.
is again 2 for 4 from 3. 2 for 5 from the field in limited minutes, very efficient. And did he play against the Celtics the second time?
I don't know
Or
if I
was that the
saw
game?
him.
Was that the game that he missed? Yeah, that's the game that he missed.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the game that he missed. And then I think he missed. Did he miss the next game? We only played 6 games. So, and the next game, which was yesterday, he was 2 for 7. So overall, I would say, up, down, up, down, up, down, but 2
Yeah.
very, very efficient games. Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Which is,
Okay,
yeah, like
cool.
what he'll definitely need to be if he wants to be the first or second guy off the bench. And like what it sounds like, Darko's going to try to give him a lot of reps with Yak. He kind of seems to like that pairing and stuff. So I wish we could have seen more of that. But
Sure.
Yak's availability didn't really make that happen. So that's all right. But yeah, it's kind of the same story with Grady of his first season was a tale of 2 halves where it was not good then good, and then last season it was good and then not great, right? So consistency would just be fantastic and do wonders for the bench unit if they got a consistent Grady Dick who can do a bit of self-creation and maybe hit he takes very challenging threes. It'd be nice if he could just kind of get some nice easier catch and shoot open threes that he can really nail.
But I think that's the value of Grady. He doesn't really get a lot
Yeah.
of easy shots, right?
Yeah.
Because teams guard him like
Yeah.
he's a great shooter. And I don't know what it is about Grady, but he is one of those guys that the percentages be damned. This guy
Yeah.
can shoot 27% for an entire month, and I
Yeah.
promise you every scouting report has him
That's
greenlit
very
as
true.
shooter, hot shooter.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's partially due to his draft night antics. I don't know if that's partially due to the fact that he's a white guy from
Probably
Wichita,
helps.
from Wichita, Kansas. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's because he was a former Gatorade National Player of the Year, but for whatever reason, teams really respect this guy as a jump shooter because I think sometimes when you see a guy like him where you see, you know, and of course that's where the comparisons come in, right? Well, who was he compared to? He was compared to Klay Thompson. He was compared to Corey Kispert. These are hot shooters. So I think the comparison dictates some anchoring bias in terms of who the player is. And it's similar with, you know, a guy like Devin Booker. Like if you had to guess, you know, what Devin Booker shoots from three on his career, I guarantee you'd be woefully surprised at how poorly he shoots from three on his career. But people guard him like he's like Steph Curry,
Yeah,
you know,
honestly,
out there at times. So yeah, it's sometimes a name recognition. Yeah, speaking of someone with a little less name recognition than Grady Dick, what about Jacoby Walter? How are we feeling about Jacoby Walter during the preseason?
Yeah, I think I expected him to be a little bit far along. Like I'm trying not to put too much pressure on him. He's very young and he's low in the rotation right now. But I do see a big upside of him as a good 3-and-D player who can really be a contributor. I think there were some shots where I thought he would have had that he missed, but that's fine. Strength wise, he needs to get bigger. Like he's still a t-shirt guy right now. And, you know, he looked like smaller than Grady right now. Like obviously their height is different, but like he looked like not as physically imposing as Grady. And I think he needs that to his game because he can get bumped off his spot pretty easily when he tries to put it on the floor. But you know, he continues to show that hustle and like get dirty, get in there, make deflections, stuff like that, grab some good rebounds. So I really like that about him is that level that he's doing. Sorry, my dog is
Randomly
chiming in.
barking.
Yeah.
No problem, man. What kind of dog do you have?
I have 3 dogs, but I have 2 that are Aussie mixes and one's a chocolate lab.
That's amazing. I'm a lifelong Aussie guy.
Oh, Aussies are the best.
I had two Australian shepherds, Maya and Sasha. They both passed away, but like they were the greatest dogs ever that any human being could have ever asked for. Ochai Agbaji.
So Ochai was about as expected. I think. I don't know what he shot. I liked his defense for the most part, but again, like he's kind of playing that role where because the way they seem to do the rotations with Scottie is they'll yank Scottie early so he can get the reps with the bench unit and then slide in somebody like Ochai. And I think that those units did just fine because he, you know, like he can defend and he can hit some open shots. I like the way he runs out in the floor and everything. Dislikes, I don't know. Like I didn't really notice him enough to have much of a dislike. Was there anything you noticed?
Dislikes. I can't say I disliked anything about Ochai, and that's kind of the crazy thing. He's very unassuming. He kind of comes in, does his part.
He's just solid, right? Like
like I would say if I had to say 10 things about Ochai this preseason, 9 of them would be good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like there was a particular play, I think 2 games ago, where Scottie asks for RJ to clear out and he decides to post up Peyton Pritchard and run out the shot clock. And then there's same play with Ochai a quarter later, and Ochai fans to the corner and ends up getting a pass through wide open 3-pointer. It just, his off-ball awareness is so much better than when he first got here. So I think among the players, I feel like Darko has had a great imprint on. He's one of those guys where I'm like, I like this guy so much at Kansas. I thought he was going to be like a really serviceable shooter in the NBA. And for him to come out and shoot as terribly as he did, you know, in his first few seasons, and of course, you know, 5 for 15 from 3 in preseason, where ESPNNeedsIKD saying that's not great. But at the same time, like we saw a large enough sample last year to know that A, he can do it, and B, that he is on now the scouting report where you're not going to ignore him.
Yeah.
You know, like I think so much of basketball comes down to the potentiality and how teams guard you, right? So for instance, like a lot of people were shitting all over Scottie against Boston, right? But here's something that I noticed against Boston through all of those misses and all of the poor process, right? They still sent 3 defenders to him every single time he got past the free throw line, right? That's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry, like when a player drives and the opposing team reacts to stop that player by sending 3 players, that player has done their job regardless of the outcome of that drive. Like if that drive turns into a, you know, a missed shot, it's still fine to me because you have gravity as a scorer, right? So it's the same thing with Ochai. Like when I see him on the left side of the floor versus when I see Jonathan Mobo or CMB on that same place, or even RJ, by the way, to some extent, I will still see the defender 2 feet over
Yeah.
in his direction versus 2 feet towards the paint. And if the goal is to clear the paint for RJ, you know, Barrett, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scottie Barnes, Emmanuel
Yeah.
Quickly, downhill attacks, even for Jakob Pertl and Grady to run 2-man, you're going to need Ochai to just provide
For
positive
sure.
spacing on the opposite side of the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Jamal Shed, man?
Okay, Jamal Shed disliked some of the processing. I think he wasted a couple of possessions. Some of his shot choices were a bit questionable. There was a lot that I didn't love with that. Likewise, I mean, his activity on defense is always fantastic comparative to results. It's not like he hasn't had the impact he had that he in college, obviously,
Right.
but his activity is still high, and communication, which I think is going to be pretty big for the bench, because you are trying to kind of fit that together. And if you can have kind of a double-headed snake of a couple of players who really understand defense of Shed and Murray Boyles, you could have a very strong, cohesive defense that is very communicative and very good on switches and stuff.
Absolutely. So you got to the I was trying to get the stats. Do you get to the positive and the negative of him?
Yeah, positive would be as a communicator, and then negative, some of his decision making, and like in terms of when he's pulling up for three, some are a little bit deeper than his range, and sometimes he's missing some reads. I didn't love his process, really.
Yeah, perfect. So we got the stats here. So ESPNNeedsIKD doesn't have to, you know, burn through by sending us all the comments. So these are the stats for preseason. Okay, so we got 2 games from Brandon Ingram. I thought he played 3. I was pretty sure he played 3. Maybe they just didn't update the last game so far. So I guess they haven't updated the last game, but at least going into last game. Oh no. We got to look at Scottie Barnes 5.5 points per game. Fuck. Come on, NBA.com. Get your shit together. Score 31 to balance this bullshit out. Anyways, the point here is at least before last game, we had RJ Barrett shooting 40% for 3. If I sort this out, it was Jared Rhoden waived. Grady Dick was ridiculously efficient. He was the most efficient rotation player on the team. I love to see, you know, Jonathan Mobo at 52.6% from the field. Granted, very limited minutes, but still, like, his paint finishing was troublesome last year. Brandon Ingram shooting 48%. Good stuff, man. Shooting 60% from 3 before last night. Great. Sandro Mamukelashvili shooting 24% from 3. Not great, but he shot 37% last year. The threat of the shooter who can't shoot in Toronto remains on the table right now. You know, Elijah Martin shooting 43% from 3 in limited minutes is shocking to me because he's looked horrible to me.
Yeah, I didn't love the pick at first, and he's looking like a guy who was good in college and maybe doesn't have an NBA future right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for the guy. He's a physical specimen, and the Raptors don't really have a lot of above the rim athletes. And if you see how they want to run in transition, oh my god, that guy on the break is a powerhouse. Like, you want to talk about guys who compare well to Giannis athletically. That is 6'1" Giannis right there. Okay, if Giannis, Elijah Antetokounmpo,
little like Eric Bledsoe, maybe almost.
There you go. The bane of Giannis's existence. The bane of Giannis's existence. The only reason that the Raptors were able to build that fucking wall was Eric Bledsoe in the freaking corner. So I mean, like, I don't care too much about preseason stats. I never really have, but it is really encouraging to see Chucky Hepburn at 46% from 3. And I think we could limit these to more quick reactions. But how did you feel about Chucky Hepburn and Elijah Martin?
I really like Chucky. I think that he outplayed Shed in many ways, shot well, showed some wiggle. And I think that there should be a competition for that role. But right now it's looking like he'll probably end up on the 905, and they'll try stuff out with Shed. And Elijah, I think, you know, active, hitting shots, cool. But didn't notice him too much.
Yeah, I noticed him. I noticed him a lot. I noticed him every time he got on the court. I was like, oh, there goes the fucking lead again. It was hard, man. I think because I was such a proponent for drafting Maxime Reynaud that it's really hard for me to get on board with this pick. But I am hoping, praying that Bobby Webster knows something that I don't know about our soon-to-be 6'1" power forward who's about to turn 24 years old. Like, yo, you better have hit on this pick. And I understand that the expectation of hitting on a 39th pick is ridiculous. Yeah. But at the same time, drafts are getting deeper and the best teams do hit on these picks, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Okay. Final players that we need to discuss, probably Jamison Battle, AJ Lawson. Jamison Battle, did we see enough of Jamison Battle to get a really good read on it?
Not really. Yeah. Like, I think he was having a bit of a rough one, and then he hit 2 really deep threes, and that was nice to see. I mean, he obviously showed enough to not be one of the cuts. So I guess there's that. And who was the other? AJ Lawson?
Yeah, AJ Lawson and Jonathan Mobo.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Mobo, yeah, his finishing, I really liked his finishing. I liked like that game winner that he had. The fact that he took the extra second and put up a good shot instead of like forcing anything like that. Like,
he feels stronger.
Yeah,
he feels a little bit stronger.
Exactly, right. So yeah, that's what I liked. Dislike, I don't know. I didn't really see like a lot of downsides of him. You know, he defended well and he finished a lot of stuff around the basket. Is there anything you noticed?
I think some of his court processing, he had a really difficult job. Let's just be honest. With Jakob Poeltl out, starting at center when there was talks about him being third string, you know, and he just jumps into the starting lineup and he's totally out of position now. Scottie obviously helped out a lot. He guarded Jokic in that first game. He took the bumps. He took the bruises for Jonathan Mobo. But I think putting Mobo and Scottie out there is always going to be a little bit troubling when Scottie's shooting this way. And if Scottie's not going to be aggressive, then Mobo is not going to eat very well. So I just think he was in some very troubling lineups. That being said, he is stronger. And, you know, I've seen enough of him in college to know that he's a good processor of the court, but I didn't love some of his processing this time. Sometimes he was cutting into spaces that I was just like, you're too smart to be doing that. So that was just my fair objective analysis on him. And AJ Lawson, who just signed with the Raptors on the two-way that is vacated by Ulrich Chomche. My heart still aches.
Yeah, I know. I really hope that it's nothing serious and that he can get his fitness to play thing out of the way. It's crazy that we have this deja vu happening right now. I hope it's not the same situation as Cloco, but it's absolutely crazy.
Second round pick. Young Cameron. Same thing.
Yeah. And hopefully hopefully it doesn't repeat and he ends up on a team I don't want him to be on. I hope he can stay within the fold and get back, because he showed a lot summer league wise, and he's a very fun player, and I believe in his rim protection, and I believe in him getting out in transition and getting buckets and stuff. So hopefully
he's the fastest center in the NBA.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Point blank period. He is
his end-to-end speed is crazy.
Like at times I was like, is there a player on this team other than maybe Emmanuel Quickley who could beat this guy in a foot race? And I don't even think Emmanuel Quickley could beat him on a foot race, like full sprint.
Because his strides are just longer.
It is crazy. A nutty thing to lose him. So I'm really praying. But above all else, like, I mean, obviously this is a business. I really got invested in his story. I interviewed his trainer when he got, you know, he came to Toronto, and you know, we talked about, like we talked about his journey, and he had this dream that like, I'm going to make Masai proud, and then he also said that he wanted to build a hospital in Bafang. And I'm no mathematician, but I know that he has not made enough money yet to build that hospital in Bafang. So at this point, as just a human, just worried about a 19-year-old kid in a new country who may be facing a very serious health issue, I'm putting aside my own fandom and just saying, okay, this is a 19-year-old kid. I remember myself being 19. I was like a fucking Ninja Turtle. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, like I had pizza boxes on top of pizza boxes on top of pizza boxes. Like, I didn't know how to be an adult. And I certainly wasn't in a different country, and I still had, you know, at least one of my parents around. So like, I mean, for him, you know, a kid who was, you know, pursuing this dream, NBA Academy. You know, he left his home in Bafang, went to Senegal, pursued this so hard. My heart aches for him so hard because honestly, like last year, if you had asked me, like top to bottom, who was the hardest worker on this team this past season, I would have said Ulrich was the hardest worker on this team. You know, point blank period. Every person who covered him in the 9 to 5 could not stop raving about his work ethic. And to see that guy potentially out of the league because of a health issue is heartbreaking. So my hope is he clears it. He gets back on his feet, whether it's with the Raptors, whether it's with the Lakers, whether it's wherever. Clutch steers him in the right direction. Some team is going to pick this guy up. He was killing it in the G League last year. So I hope this is not the end for Ulrich. And I hope that one day he gets a $10 million contract and he can build that hospital in Bafang, man. Because, you know, like that is the true essence of, you know, one of the biggest reasons I supported Masai as much as I did, because, you know, the infrastructure in Africa is a very important thing to all of us. Among the wavies, is there one that you feel is going to be the one that got away, that he's going to end up on another team and Raptor fans are going to be like, we could have had that guy?
Honestly, no.
Jared Roden.
I like
no
Roden, but yeah, I think they haven't stuck anywhere for a reason. Roden didn't stick with the Hornets when he had that little stint. Like I like Roden. I think he's got a little something to him. But yeah, I don't think I mean I think it's only Ulrich if he's the guy that gets away. That's the big pain there. Otherwise, I think those guys, maybe a couple of them will get picked up for some stints and stuff like that. You know, who knows? We're seeing a lot of talented players get waived, so who really knows, right?
I think it could be David Roddy. I just have a feeling this guy's going to have a late career blossoming somewhere where he's just going to go out there and be like a beast who averages like 42% from 3 or something like that. And we're going to be like, we could have had that guy. George Niang part 2. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. We set out 13 problems. 13 questions. This was the first question, and we're 40 minutes in. So this was by far going to be the most deep one, but we can probably, some of these are quick hitters. So, you know, cap sheet problems, right? The Raptors are into the tax. They haven't shown a willingness to pay any tax. There's a ton of CBA jargon about why it is beneficial to not be a tax team. You get a big payout at the end of the year from all the teams that are tax teams. MLSE is cheap as hell. Rogers is cheap as hell. There's a lot, you know, going on behind the scenes of board restructuring, ownership shuffling, stock prices, Canadian economy, tariffs. There's no chance in hell that the Toronto Raptors, Masai Ujiri, Darko Rajakovic have the green light to spend into the tax unless this team proves that they are like a championship contender, which cheat sheet, they're not. So how do we duck the tax? Give me your solution.
So what are we? We're about 3.5 over, something like that.
I think it was like 2.5, but yeah,
2.5. Okay, so does Temple's contract cover it? Because if you can really cheat it and just get away by waiving him, you could maybe do that.
So I don't know. His contract, because he's a veteran minimum, there's some stuff in the CBA that allows you to sign veteran minimums, and part of their contract doesn't count towards your big cap hit. Okay. So the league sort of pays a part of it, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it wouldn't be Temple.
Okay, so yeah, I mean the bubble guys obviously I think are Ochai and RJ, right? Bobby said it himself that he doesn't expect the team to be the same team this time next year, and I don't think he was just talking about waiving David Roddy. So I think there's more moves to happen there. So I mean, but like if you're trying to win, I don't think you just get off of Ochai to get somebody a bit cheaper. And then I think that's kind of a losing move. So I think, I don't know what they can really get for it, but I still expect them to really explore the RJ space and the kind of the players that are in. Maybe his return valuation might just be that amount that they need to cut. That might just be enough. What about you? What's your solution?
I think it's going to have to be one of those two guys. So to anyone saying waive Temple, first of all, what the hell did Temple do to you? Okay, like leave the guy alone. He's an assistant coach. He's riding out his career. We're going to give him a farewell tour, just like he's Kobe. Relax. Okay, he's not getting waived. But my thought on this is you need to clear about $3 million to $4 million of actual salary, which means you can't just waive a guy.
Yeah.
Unless you're thinking of buying them out, waiving and stretching them. Like we're going to pay Garrett Temple for the next 55 years or something like that to duck the tax. That ain't going to happen. So the solution is you dump RJ to a team that somehow ends up having a traded player exception.
Yeah.
You know, you take back dead weight, they give you a draft pick. I don't think that's the way the Raptors are going to go. This will also depend on how RJ extension and Ochai extension talks come. I believe if one of them sign an extension, they then become unavailable to be traded for quite a while.
Yeah.
So that will be the holdup. I do believe that it is interesting that the Raptors are holding a roster spot open, given that they have a team with so many injury concerns and so many young guys. It would make sense to actually shore up the back line with a 15th roster spot, even if it's a minimum guy. I think the cap sheet being into the tax is obviously stopping them, but I also think the big grand, chess move reason to not have a 15th guy is to have a 2-for-1. I believe they will look at 2-for-1s. I think the deal that accomplishes what you want while hurting yourself the least is probably a deal with like the Chicago Bulls. That deal would probably be something like you take back a bad contract like Patrick Williams. You also get Ayo Dosunmu. And again, this will also depend on if Jamal Shed becomes what you want him to become. Because if Jamal Shed struggles, he quickly played 33 games last year. You could be really, really big trouble with Chucky Hepburn as your third string point guard. So if Jamal Shed doesn't earn the job, if Grady Dick does not prove that he is going to be worth, a big extension next offseason, I think you could look at one of RJ or Ochai or both in a trade. So one trade would be RJ plus Ochai for a similarly paid player, but a worse player than both those guys. And then you take back a young player and attach to that player. So a guy like Jeremy Grant, right? Jeremy Grant makes around 30 million, I think. RJ plus Grady is like 33. So you would take back Jeremy's contract. You would probably take back picks. They would get the better players. You would take the terrible contract. Another deal would be something horrible like, RJ for Patrick Williams, a terrible contract, but you get Ayo Dosunmu back and you balance out your roster a little bit that way. You get a little bit more depth. It's not going to be a sexy return on RJ. People saying they're not trading RJ. Well, then tell me why he's been extension eligible for weeks and he doesn't have an extension. I don't know what to tell y'all. They tried to trade him last year for Brandon Ingram. The Pelicans preferred Bruce Brown. So I agree that RJ has looked very good. I agree with that. But almost every bucket that he's getting right now is scavenger buckets, open threes, cuts to the rim. You're not paying $27 million for this on a team that is completely capped out. Now, personally, as a Raptors fan / analyst who has watched this team pay Emmanuel Quickley $32 million a year, watched Jakob Poeltl sign for an extension that will at some point pay him $26 million a year, watched Chris Boucher earn 11, watched Gary Trent earn 18. Personally, I have no problems with Brandon Ingram getting 38. But the minute Brandon Ingram got 38, RJ was gone. And I felt it. I knew it. If Ochai is to be extended, if at some point Grady is to be extended, you will end up being like the Boston Celtics without anywhere close to the championship core needed to be the Boston Celtics. It's just math. It's nothing. Guardian Transit saying what RJ will extend at a lower. If that were the case, if they can get a deal done with RJ, I think that lines up very well to my next question, actually. And I'm just going to move the question up in the order just because it just flows naturally. So RJ and Ochai extensions, yes, no, and what's the dollar amount? And I'll tell you mine, and we can just move on from that question.
Yeah,
Ochai.
So Ochai, I think yes, and I think maybe it's a 2-year, maybe +1 as a team option, and maybe like
we're the Toronto Raptors. We don't do team options.
Player option.
Player options.
We'll go player option and a no move clause. No, I don't know. Maybe like it's got to be under 10 per.
So 2 years, 20 million.
Yeah. I think I'd be okay with that. I don't know how that fits in the whole grand scheme of stuff. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking 3 years, 26 million.
I think that'd be a great deal to have.
But this is the Toronto Raptors, so it's going to be 3 years, 85 million. Don't worry. Okay, RJ extension, yes or no?
I think no. Okay. I think it relies on him taking a big discount that I don't think him or his agent will go for.
Okay, you're Bobby Webster. I'm Masai Ujiri. Sorry, what am I talking about? I'm RJ Barrett. You're Bobby Webster. Masai Ujiri is on vacation. He's in Cabana right now. Okay, so hey Bobby, I would like to stay with this team. What are you willing to offer me?
Okay, I'll give you 2
Wait,
years.
I gotta deepen my voice. Hey, hey, hey. I'm a Toronto man.
I gotta put on a suit and get a couple of phones.
You got to dial up your condescension level like about 800% right now. You got to be like real snarky to pull this Bobby West.
Chew a little gum or something.
Yep.
No, I would say we're looking at 2 years, 34.
Damn, bro. How you gonna do? You know what? You know I won Gatorade National Player of the Year. I'm a pretty good defender too.
How many years
my
ago
trainer
was
told
this?
me. My trainer told me. Gatorade National Player of the Year, 3rd overall pick, man. I'm a 20-point per game scorer, 21, 6, and 5. You can't offer me more than you offered me half the contract you gave to Quickly.
Yeah, listen, I looked at your EPM and basically every
What the hell is that?
analytic.
What the hell is that?
It's this crazy number we use.
Y'all calculator nerds don't really know about the game, the playground game. You don't know how to play. I'll bust your ass. I'm out of here. Okay. I demand a trade. Fuck this shit. Okay. So this contract, this is not going to go well.
Yeah. No.
2 years, 34 million ain't going well. I would say
it's a math problem for him. Like, it's just
RJ Barrett is an asset that I would like to keep. People who listen to me think I want to dump this guy at any cost. No, I don't want to dump him. I want to dump every single fan that thinks he's better than Brandon Ingram and Scottie Barnes. I would like to dump y'all, and I would like to send you to Taiwan on a one-way trip. Okay, and it's like, no disrespect to all our Taiwanese listeners, by the way. I want to send them to Taiwan to learn about life. Please understand that. Okay, like go train with like the Buddhist monks and shit. Okay. I would like to keep RJ at this is going to sound crazy. I would like to keep him at 3 years, 65 million.
Okay.
Now that is a bit of a pay cut.
Yeah.
But it is respectful. I'll tell you why. Yeah. Number one, I do trust his work ethic. I love that he is a hard worker and that he cares about the city and that he wants to put on for the city. Number two, I understand that his value to this franchise is greater than his value to other places. And I have to compensate him for that to some extent, right? Also, I do think, given where the CBA is going, that contract will be okay.
Yep.
It's the 27 million in the previous CBA that's really bad. But I think at 65 on 3 with maybe a team option on the 3rd year, I give myself just enough flexibility and I get out from it. And I just trust that he will develop. And I also let him know there's a chance that if Grady or Jacoby usurp you, you're going to have to become a 6th man on this team. Yeah. That would be my deal with him. And if he doesn't like it, he can go chase in free agency and he'll get a mid-level exception somewhere else. Like, I know 100% he's not going to get more than a mid-level from somebody. So
yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, it'll take him kind of sucking that up and going, okay, that is what it is. But yeah, like, what would that be, like 21 something a year? That's very tenable to have your 6th man at. I think that's okay. Having a 6th man at 27, 28 mil is when you get a big problem. So I think, yeah, if you can lower him to that amount and he can, serve as a part-time starter, part-time bench guy, and he gets to kind of cook off the bench, play a bit of his game and stuff like that. I like him, like, personality-wise, everything. He's a great guy, great teammate. He does not seem stubborn. He doesn't seem hard to coach. He seems willing to put in the work, do all that stuff, right? So I think intangible-wise, completely great as an asset you want to keep. I just think, I think it's a math problem at the end of the day. It's that to pay a guy a high dollar amount, he has to be a highly impactful player. And RJ has not been that impactful for winning for his entire career, right? So you have to kind of shift up his role. And with that comes the pay cut, right?
We talked about Ochai and RJ potentially being the guys to be moved. There is a question here, 3 guys who could be traded and why. I feel like we're 2/3 of the way through that question. So I'll just move that question up the list too. Who's the 3rd guy?
I think Grady could be the 3rd guy because he's got a lot of value. And if
are you a wrestling fan?
I haven't paid attention to it in years, but it used to be. Why?
Do you remember 1995? Who is the 3rd man? Do you remember the Hogan reveal?
No,
at Bash at the Beach?
Please tell me
Okay,
no.
so to give this video a like if you're a wrestling fan, yeah, please do, because I was a huge WWF and WWE fan. So for a while, WWE and WWF were going back, but WCW and WWF were going back and forth in the ratings, and Ted Turner was competing with Vince McMahon. And so they had Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. I don't know if you know who those two guys are. You do, right? And those two guys went towards they were employees as Diesel and Razor Ramon at WWF, right? And they just walked onto the set of WCW out of the crowd, like they were just crashing the set. And it was a brilliant storyline.
Yeah.
And they started challenging WCW, like, we're here from the WWF, and you know, we're here to tell you that your company sucks and whatever. So the brilliant strategy of this was that you didn't even have to watch WWF, because the WWF was literally on WCW, but it wasn't actually, because behind the scenes, Hogan and Hall and Nash's contracts with WWF were up. So they had already signed a new contract with WCW, but the storyline was they were still working with WWF. So they come out and they say, we're going to challenge your best 3 guys. And Eric Bischoff's like, well, you guys are 2 guys. He's like, we have a 3rd guy. And they do this 3-man tag team match, and they do it as the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they're beating the shit out of the WCW. They're beating the shit out of, you know, Luger. I think it was Luger, Macho Man, and Sting. And suddenly Hogan, who's the biggest star at the moment in the world in basketball,
is their 3rd man.
He's coming out, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, the great American, hero is coming out to save the WCW." And he goes into the ring, and he just fucking, like, he joins the NWO.
Joins that side.
He just, like, does the big leg drop. And it was like, it was honestly the most memorable storyline shift in my life. So when I say who is the 3rd man, and you say Grady Dick, I'm thinking Grady Dick needs to get, like, really in the gym, pump up those 18, 22-inch pythons, brother. And, you know, like really just, like, grow out the locks a little bit, start pumping.
He does impressions. I feel like he could really nail a Hulk Hogan impression.
He really could. He really could. If he can do Daffy Duck or whatever the hell he does, I think he does Donald Duck.
Yeah,
he can do it. Okay, so Grady is the 3rd man. I completely agree with you. Okay,
yeah, I think he could be a great sweetener, right? Like, if you're trying to upgrade or anything like that, he's got a lot of value still, right? So, and that solves the extension issue as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so I just randomly interjected like a 2-minute, WWF history lesson into a basketball podcast. Give it a like for that. And Red Salute said, wrestling down. Oh, sorry. Well, we can't appeal to everybody all the time, but I promise it won't come up again until tomorrow. Okay, so Ingram over and under 60 games, over or under 60 games played.
I think over. But I don't think that far over. I think like 64, 65. I think like maybe I'm pushing it, but the New Orleans curse seems so real. Like, everybody talks about it. The second they leave the team, they're like, that was like blah blah. And then Dyson Daniels has a good healthy season, and the rookies that they've already got are already injured. Like,
right.
So maybe it's cope, maybe it's false hope, but I'm hoping he cracks over 60.
Have you ever been to New Orleans?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either, but I hear it's pretty cursed. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it might just be the infection of Zion. You know what I mean? Like, when your star player is so injury prone. I don't know. Or maybe it's their training staff. Like, who knows, man? Maybe Zion gets traded to another team and he becomes the best player in the NBA. It could happen. Speaking of over and unders, okay, so I will actually take the under on 60 games played. Unfortunately, I think the Raptors' physical style will grind Ingram out. I also think maybe the Raptors will be wise to just rest him a few games. I know that the regular season success is very important, but I think he plays 55 games. 23 points over and under.
Over. I'll say over for
23 games.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go under on that. So I'm gonna
He's
go
gonna
under
share the
on
ball
both.
more. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I think they'll keep his minutes a little bit more respectable, right? The Darko has already talked about, wanting to play guys fewer minutes, playing deeper into his rotation. I don't think he's going to be as heliocentric as he was. I don't think the pecking order is going to be as defined. I think some nights Ingram's going to get it. Some nights Scottie's going to get it. Some nights RJ's going to go off for 35. I think that egalitarian approach kind of stops one guy from just going off and averaging 24, 25. But that being said, he's probably going to get the most efficient looks of his life.
Yeah.
And so even though he averages, I think probably just a hair under 23 points, it might be like 22.2. It'll be probably the most efficient 22.2 of his career. Let's go with Scottie Barnes over under 65 games.
I want to go over again. I think that his past injury issues have not been chronic stuff. It's been these freak kind of contact issues. And he was like, before Emmanuel quickly kicked him in the hand, he was not missing games. He was playing no problem, and they want to win now. And we've seen that he will play through injuries, right? So I don't think that he's afraid to play through injuries. I don't think they're going to baby him too much. And so I think over 65.
Yeah, I think he probably plays 67 to 68. So I would take the over as well. 20 points, over or under.
You know what? I think I'll go over, but I'm going to say under, but more efficient. I could see him having a more efficient 19 point per game season, depending on where his looks are and stuff. And I think that still puts you in, as we've seen with guys like Evan Mobley and all that stuff. Like, you don't need to crack 20 points to be getting all-star and all-NBA nods, but getting it more efficient and getting it more, like more his style, I think it totally work. And I think in order for my over on Ingram to work, I think Scottie would have to be under for that kind of push-pull to work. What do you think?
I'm going to go over.
And how much over? What do you think?
I'm going to go 22 and a half. I'm going to go with like him and Ingram pretty much averaging neck and neck. Like maybe Ingram averages 23. Yeah. I think his role on defense will obviously tire his legs a little bit on offense. So, all that stuff. But him as an off-ball cutter, him as a screener, although I haven't been very impressed with his screening at all in the preseason. I think he's been avoiding contact a lot.
Yeah, he needs to really hit them harder. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like Darko talked about him playing 3 shifts, a lot of shifts with the second unit, right? He's going to be the anchor of that second unit.
Yeah.
I think you have enough spacing. The teams are not going to be able to gang up on him as much. I would feel a lot better about this if I felt a little bit more comfortable in Jamal Shedd's jump shot.
Yeah.
Like if we could, and I'm not suggesting trading him. I love Jamal Shedd. Like I love Jamal Shedd more than certain dead relatives. So let's just be for real. Like I love Jamal Shedd. So please don't get me wrong. I just kind of wish he was more of a third string coming up as opposed to a second string that he has to work out.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't Jamal Shedd and it was Malcolm Brogdon, non-retired Malcolm Brogdon, I would feel like so much better about this team. That's the difference between this team 100% getting like 45 wins and this team maybe getting 37. It's that stability of the backup guard, or at least the ability to maybe usurp or, close with or go change the pace of that. So I understand that the Raptors want to be like really tenacious into the ball, and maybe, older guards who are more established don't really want to play that kind of grinded out style. Like I think I don't think I've ever heard anyone in the Raptor space really talking about whether players want to buy into this style of basketball. It's exhausting, right? Physical, grind it out. It's a certain type of person that wants to play OKC basketball, right? Certain veterans are simply not going to want to come here and have to pick up 94 feet, play less minutes, share the ball a lot, play more egalitarian, move off the ball really quickly. This is, like, it's almost like when you walk around, and you tell people these are my standards, and then everyone who just like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like when you go into a date and you say like I expect that, you're gonna naturally repel a lot of people, but you might attract the right person. So I hope between AJ Lawson, Elijah Martin, Jamal Shedd, these are all guys who actually want to play this way. So I'm looking at other players maybe across the league that want to play this way. Herb Jones. Right. That's a guy who'd want to play this way. Jalen Suggs. That's a guy who really wants to play this way.
Yeah.
Jonathan Isaac, Dyson Daniels. Like, these are not easy guys to get, but these are the guys. So I think the Raptors need to, if Jamal Shedd doesn't work out, Aya Dosunmu. That's the natural path, because that can shore up your backup guard position. So anyways, that being said, I think Scottie's going to score a lot with the second unit. And as much as, you know, I think the media has made a lot about Darko saying Scottie's going to play more off the ball this year and he can finally be the number 2. I think people are really obsessed in Toronto with this number 2, number 1 bullshit.
Yeah.
I
don't hear other
you,
teams talk about this in the same way. I don't.
Yeah, like the last time people talked about this shit was like Kobe and Shaq. Like, shut up, man. Like, this is not Kobe and Shaq. This is Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram. Like, relax, you know? So, like, like people just have this need, you know? It's weird. But to me, the thing is that to anyone expecting him to just completely cut out the mid-range, post-ups, dribble drive stuff, no. It's going to be there. He's going to continue to experiment. For sure, in my opinion. So I think he'll get a lot of points in the second unit. Okay. Surprise performer of the year. Which player will drastically exceed expectations? Pick 3 in order. We don't have to talk about them at length, but just give me like a 1, 2, 3.
Scottie as 1, CMB 2, and Grady 3.
Interesting. Scottie Barnes currently. I'm not a sports bettor. I don't know if you're a sports bettor.
No,
I don't.
Really.
I built this channel on this premise that we will never ever take a gambling sponsorship ever. But I do look at gambling odds. Yep. Curiosity, you know.
And they can be somewhat indicative. Yeah. At least of the vibe of a player. Yeah.
Yeah. The Raptors moved from 37.5 to 39.5 win over under. So I was like very curious about that. Scottie Barnes odds went from 501 to 201 to 1 for MVP. That was interesting. Scottie Barnes is also currently 16th in the NBA in MIP voting or odds. He's tied with Victor Wembanyama and Jalen Johnson. I consider that a very good sign. Yeah. Because last year he was pretty much 19, 7, and 6-ish. An MIP on that would be 22, 9, and 8. Yep. Like that's what you would have to do to have even a shot at it, and probably more, and like real big defensive impact, and the team has to win. So I think Vegas is consistently showing me that there are some very, very smart people that are dealing with millions and if not billions of dollars that are seeing something here that is trending them towards the Raptors are going to be a better team. Yeah. I think there's some talk about how this team is desperate to win, how everyone is talking about winning. And again, like I know maybe 30 people who would have any insight into this team. But these Vegas odd makers, they know hundreds, if not thousands of people who would have real insights. They know trainers who work with these people. They know scouts. They know front office executives. So they have like deeper insights. And so when they start going like bullish on a team, I'm just like, okay, something's going on behind the scenes. They know a trade that's about to come. So I pay attention to that stuff. Okay. Yeah. I think those are cool surprise performers. I would probably pick Scottie BI because I think Brandon Ingram's just so widely disrespected. 77th in the NBA.
Yeah,
ESPN,
it's true.
Go to hell.
No, and I think that's the second you slide on that Raptors jersey, they start to drop you 20, 30 spots. Like, and the second you pull it off, they put you back up 30 spots. It's just, it's the way it is.
So Scottie was 30th. So you're saying if Scottie wasn't in Toronto, he'd be 10th?
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so
but
I'm not wrong.
He would get more respect on a premier team, like straight up, right? Like it's like we scream our heads off about OG Anunoby for years as a top defender. He gets put on New York, and all of a sudden, every podcast is like, "This guy should be DPOY. This is crazy." Yeah, thanks.
So ESPN had 150 writers that compiled that list, right? So that's 150 contributors and analysts, and they arrived to the conclusion that Scottie was the 30th best player in the league. If you, and then this is, you know, you're a plugged in guy, you're well aware of the, you know, Scottie discourse online and stuff. You're online. If the Toronto media was asked to compile the list of the top 100 players in the NBA, where would Scottie be?
Bottom half of the 50s. And
that's
below,
ambitious.
But yeah, below a lot of
he'd be below Ingram. That's for starters.
Yeah, and he'd probably be right on par with RJ, but he'd be below Fred VanVleet. He'd be below a lot of
he'd be below Siakam, he'd be below VanVleet,
they are
he'd
not
be below.
They are not too favorable to him, and that helps kind of color the national image of him, which is why I think he would be a surprise performer with the general vibe of public that are down on him versus like coaches or anybody that are more plugged in kind of thing.
What's interesting is that the worst thing that can happen to a player, in my opinion, has happened to Scottie, which is you're a really good player in a market that doesn't appreciate you, but also a market that doesn't extend beyond your market. So, for instance, like if you tell an average person that, like, let's just say, for instance, let's use Cade Cunningham as, no, let's not use Cade Cunningham. Let's use Amen Thompson as an example, right? Now, Amen Thompson was in the playoffs last year, so we all saw him. He was on a good team last year, so we all saw him. He was on national television, so we all saw him. But let's say we didn't see him. Let's say we didn't see him at all. And the only thing we had to go on was the articles that were being written about him in Houston. So we don't watch him. Just like, you know, I mean, how many Keyshawn George games did you watch last year? Probably not a lot.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So we rely on the local media to inform the national media. So when Brian Windhorst or, you know, Zach Lowe or anyone, Tim Bontemps or any one of these, you know, national people, they lean on the Samson folks and the William Lews and the, you know, the Michael Granges to inform them. That's how beat reporting media works. So when the national coverage of a player is not good, or when the local coverage is not good of a player, and there's no incentive for international or national viewing of that player, then that coverage becomes the player. When Doug Smith writes an article saying Scottie Barnes has work ethic issues, and I, as a casual fan in Cleveland, am curious about if that's true, and I look at his numbers, and he's shooting 26% from three, I'm like, well, perfect. Work ethic issues, man.
That's why he's lazy. Yeah, exactly.
It's a sad state of affairs, man. Okay, let's construct a perfect 48-minute lineup rotation. Obviously, the starting five is the starting five. Take me through, if you're Darko Rajakovic, through your subbing rotations. And what I really want to get to is who plays with who on your mixed lineups, right? So there was an interview or an article by Esfandiar Bahani. Shout outs to S. You guys had him on your show the other day, which was really, really cool, on Raptors Report, which is really cool. I've been enjoying that you guys do content too. It's really dope.
Thank you very much.
He mentioned that Darko talked about transitional lineups, mixed lineups, three stint players and two stint players. So Scottie's a 3-stint player.
Yeah.
He does the 7 minutes, then he does like 5 minutes, then he does 5 minutes, like that. That's how he makes up his 35. So let's go with your first substitution in your 48 minutes. Like, what's your first sub looking like? Who's coming in? Who's coming out?
I like what Darko's done so far, where it looks like it is Scottie coming off for Ochai, because it gives a little bit of a different look. It adds a little bit more shooting, while keeping, because when you take Scottie Barnes off the floor, you need to sub in a great defender. You cannot sub him in for a weak defender because you are going to get picked apart. So I like that so far. When we had Gary Trent, he used to pull him for Gary Trent, and we would, I mean, half the time we would immediately start losing those minutes, but half the time it would score, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Yeah, so I think probably first sub would be him for Ochai. I think that's working okay. That's totally fine. Give him a breather before he's going to lead that bench unit. And then second, I'm probably getting RG out of there for Grady. And then, well, we've got that kind of transition. I think they'll keep BI with Yak for probably longer. I don't know if he mentioned whether or not he views BI as a 2-stint guy or a 3-stint guy, but I think he'd be more of a 2. Yeah, because versus somebody like, it seems the way he defines that is players that play super hard will be a 3-stint. Exactly, right? Whereas a guy who is very good sitting in his rhythm, like Ingram, is probably a 2-stint guy because he kind of is like a consistent kind of level of motor. So yeah, I think you probably pull all those guys. I'd probably pull Yak, BI, and IQ off kind of at the same time to get those second guys in. I don't know. What about you? What would be your first couple?
So I would pull Scottie and quickly. No, I would pull Scottie and, weirdly enough, I would pull Scottie and BI out. No. I would pull Scott. You know, it sucks because it's like Scottie. I think I would just pull Scottie out. I think I would pull Scottie out and I would put CMB on. Okay.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay. So that would be my first substitution, and that would be around the 6-minute mark. So Scottie's getting 6 minutes, right? Then around the 2-minute mark, so now all the other starters other than Scottie have played 10 minutes, I would actually bring Scottie, Mamu, Grady, and Jacoby on the
Okay.
court with
Yeah.
CMB. I would let Scottie run point guard on those
Mm-hmm.
lineups. Then I would play that lineup from the 2-minute mark till about the 5-minute mark. No, the 7-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I would probably pull Scottie and I would go back to the initial transitional lineup that I had with the starters with CMB.
Mhm.
But instead of CMB, I would probably put Jamal Shad or something.
Yeah.
Because CMB has now played like a lot of minutes all together, all
Yeah.
at once.
Which
And
might be tough
he's
for him to start. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then towards the last 3 minutes of the quarter, I would bring Scottie on and I would let him play out with the starters. So something like that. And then I would do the same thing in the second half, roughly,
Yep.
with maybe Scottie having a shorter second stint and a longer third stint in the second half. So that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
And what this would do is allow Scottie to run point with maximum spacing, right? And really good defense and only one defensive liability. I don't think I brought up Ochai at all, which is probably a big mistake on my part. And he's probably going to get some runs somewhere in there for RJ or something like that. But yeah, like I could see like lineups with Scottie plus Grady plus Ochai plus CMB plus Mamu being interesting. You could sub Ochai out for Jacoby. You can, interplay with these guys. But I like this idea of transition quick hitting. Scottie with those 4 players will work. I promise to God, the minute that lineup comes, people are going to be like, oh my God, Showtime Lakers. It's going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. 10 deep, 11 deep, who gets shafted? So who's the odd man out of this rotation, provided everyone's healthy?
I think right now it looks like Mobo is the odd man out. Yeah. Is that what you were thinking?
Well, I mean, we go with the starters, and now let's go 10 deep. So Jamal Shed, Ochai, Brady, CMB, Sandro. So right now, Jacoby's on the outside looking in. Jameson Battle's on the outside looking in. Chucky Hepburn on the outside looking in. But it is interesting to note that despite being the undrafted guy, Chucky Hepburn was ahead of Elijah Martin in the rotation during preseason. And I think that that's warranted.
Yeah.
So
better ball handler.
Yeah. If we go 11 deep, I think Jacoby should get minutes. I think they invested a first round pick in him last year, but I do think Jonathan Mobo is on the outside looking in right now.
Yeah.
I would say this: Scottie plus Mobo plus CMB plus Ochai plus Jacoby would be the coolest 5-man lineup to see. It would be speed. It would be balls to the wall defense. It would be like mini OKC type of like scram everything.
Very hard to play against. Yeah.
Super hard to play against. And you have just enough rebounding, size, athleticism, rim protection. I would love to see that lineup at some point. I hope we do. A lot of really positive lineups for the Raptors involve Scottie being a guard as opposed to a power forward. And a lot of the worst lineups, in my opinion, end up with him at the 4 or the 5. But there are certain lineups with him at the 4 or 5 that could also work really well. And I think a lot of them involve him playing with Mamu and Grady, or Mamu and, with one positive shooter.
Yeah, you need good like the positive shooting, but also just like sound decision making around him. If he is going to be playing the 4, at like what I dislike so much about those pass bench units that when he would be with Chris and Precious was their decision making wasn't there, and he would like establish, like he'd work, get low, like he'd get a seal, and they wouldn't hit him with the pass. Like it was all this effort for nothing that was wasted every time. So a guy like Mamu who can make those reads and identify. Grady is a talented passer. Like he is very smart. He understands it. I would love to see that because they're going to get a bit of attention to open the floor a little bit while being able to actually feed him down low in a good position, right?
Absolutely. I agree. So we prefer to go 10 deep or 11 deep?
I think probably 11 deep. I think it's good to keep guys involved because I do think there'll be minor injuries and stuff like that. So yeah, I think, and the guys who are probably splitting minutes would be maybe like an Ochai and maybe Jacoby if you're trying to get him a little bit get those touches in, or if you need that shooting a battle or something, right? Like they're just kind of biting in a bit on of Ochai's minutes. I could see it.
Okay. One trade you'd make tomorrow.
One trade I've talked about this before, where it's a trade that I
It has to
could
be
see.
realistic.
Yeah. So
Okay, how
it
about
would-
this? How about
yeah.
this? What's the team?
It'd be the Celtics.
Okay, I will be Brad Stevens.
Okay.
You will be Bobby Webster. So
Yeah.
turn up the douche factor like 800% again. Okay. Let's negotiate this out. And I promise to God as my witness, as to Toronto Raptors faithful, I will negotiate in good faith on behalf of Steve's most hated team, apparently, the Boston Celtics.
They're tied with 29 other teams, so it's fine.
Okay.
So I'm calling you about Derek White.
Okay.
Right? You guys are kind of headed in a potential transitional period. I know you think that, get everybody back healthy, but I think this season might not go the way you're hoping for. So what I'm offering you as a bit of a tough contract to swallow, an RJ Barrett, but you've shown the tendency to take on Anthony Simons, who is a similar contract and a similar impact of a player. So RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, 1 first, and a future swap. That would be my offer for Derek White. What say you, Brad Stevens?
Okay. RJ Barrett, Grady Dick.
White shooter. You can't say no, Brad Stevens.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, Grady, great. Okay, so I like Grady.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me look at my cap sheet here. I will entertain this offer. Okay.
It might be too much money going your way. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know what Derek makes.
So NBA trade machine. Let's open this up here. Let's make a deal, man. Okay. Okay. Fanspo. Let's pull this up. Okay.
Oh, and it's a 2027 first.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Okay. So always fun to do mock trades in the preseason, but hey, man, like, okay. So these are the two teams in question. You are talking about me taking on RJ Barrett. You are also talking about me taking a Grady Dick, soon to be paid Grady Dick, and you would like back Derek White, which does solve your problems. Frankly, exacerbates my problems because now a team that is trying to get under the apron, has $5 million extra on my books again.
Problem. Do you
Big
have
problem.
any garbage that you want to throw at me? I don't think so. Do you?
No, we don't have those types of contracts because we tried to get rid of all of them.
Problem.
So
okay. And I can't pull Grady out of there because he's the big part of this deal, right? So, and I'm definitely not throwing like 3 picks at you. So
okay, let me really try to put my Brad Stevens hat on and really like try to think this through here. So I'm gonna say no to RJ Barrett. Okay.
Yeah.
But I understand that you want Derek White.
Yeah.
How would you feel about adding? Okay. I will give you Jaylen Brown and Derek White.
Okay.
You will give me Scottie Barnes, Grady Dick. Hold on. Let's make this work. And Jakob Poeltl. No picks involved. Straight swap. Actually, I will happily give you a 2nd round pick. There we go. How do you feel about this deal? Let me try it out. Let's see if it works. It failed. Fuck. What's wrong here? Over the allowable amount by 18 million. Oh my God. What? Did I just?
Oh, Jaylen Brown just makes so much money, man.
Oh dear God. Okay, so my bad.
Well, listen,
So I need to take back RJ Barrett too. Fuck me.
we're doing a whole team swap. Look, so I appreciate the amount of talent coming back, and I think that in some ways that improves the Raptors. But the Jakob Poeltl inclusion kind of screws up the timeline that we would be increasing, because what we're really doing is trading timelines here in a big way, where we're swapping some young guys for some old guys. So I think I would pull out of that, because the real goal of this is for me to change my two guard from one of the least productive ones into one of the best ones. And the cost of that would be a great young player and some picks. So I think I would turn that down, because I'm giving up all my future in my center.
Okay. So this deal works actually. The only hold up is Jakob Poeltl cannot be traded for the next 6 months because of his extension.
Right, okay.
So how can I make this better for you? I can give you Peyton Pritchard, and I can take back Ochai Agbaji. Now I feel like I am giving you a lot of value to think about here, because I'm giving you a really good young player. So you get Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, and a second round pick. I get Grady, Ochai, Jakob, RJ, and Scottie.
I think I would do it because of where the East is right now, and that I could see this team, if you can wiggle your way into a decent replacement level center to kind of step in there, I could see this Raptors team winning a couple playoff rounds with these guys. And I'm not higher on Jaylen Brown than I am on Scottie. I'm not that, but I think Peyton Pritchard adds a very interesting guard combination. This would be an insane deal, but I think I would take it if my short-term goal is to try to win it this year. But I think I end up with buyer's remorse in a year or two.
Yeah, so
when it doesn't work out.
You don't have a center anymore. So that's tough. I think a lot of Raptor fans would be upset about that. But you do have Jacoby Walter, CMB. You have tons of players that you could potentially trade for a center if you really wanted to. Your starting five would be, I'm assuming, Emmanuel Quickley, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Brandon Ingram at the 4, and whoever you replace at the 5 with Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Jacoby Walter. Yeah, you're fine.
I think
from the Celtics side, though, we just rebuilt our entire roster. So
the Celtics,
I'm happy.
in 1 year, when Tatum comes back, is significantly better than the Raptors team that I've just constructed out of this. But we're going for it all for this one season. We're going, I'm not afraid of the Knicks. I'm not afraid of the Magic. Let's go for it with this. And hopefully you get the I do think that Derek White's going to have a career year this year, but I'm more hesitant if Jaylen Brown is going to have a career year this year. But, if all that falls into place, we go into the ECF. And is that worth your whole future?
Yeah. I mean, look, if the way this deal works out is, if I'm the Celtics, I'm banking on Scottie becoming all NBA and Grady turning into a very, very good player.
Yeah.
I eat Jakob Poeltl's deal because I don't have a starting center. I take RJ Barrett because he's a decent transitional player. I still have Anthony Simons on my books. So now I have 2 of these guys on my books. I'm getting rid of my championship DNA to start over. And I'm starting over with Barnes and Tatum, which is a very interesting pairing as a 3-4, or if you think about Scottie maybe as a 1, Tatum as a 3. These are 2 of the best defensive forwards who can both switch for like 4 to 5 positions. Scottie in Boston is heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously. But right now, I am Brad Stevens, and I pull the trigger. I'd pull the trigger on this deal 1,000% of the time.
And
I don't know how
I would
Celtics fans would feel about this deal, but I, as operating for the Celtics, I promise I operated in good faith. I would do that deal 100 times out of 100.
And if you pull that trigger and you rest those guys and you get your way into a Darren Peterson or an AJ Devonta, you've got
now you have
already
5 guys to rest her. 5 guys to rest now.
Yeah, but
You gotta rest
you just
Scottie, you gotta rest,
you rest them, but you just play through Anthony and RJ, and you'll lose enough.
I also have like a very, very compelling competing offer for Giannis, by the way. Like, if Scottie blossoms in Boston, I now have the perfect blue chip.
That's true.
To trade for Giannis. So I would do this 100 times if I was Toronto. If I were Boston, if I were Toronto, however, like, so if the situation was reversed here, let's reverse shoes. I'm now Toronto. That deal is still that deal. You are now Boston. Are you pulling the trigger on that deal?
I am.
You're pulling that.
Yeah, on that deal that we
if I'm now Toronto, I'm saying hell no, a million times out of a million. I'm not trading Scottie Barnes. No chance in fucking hell. You're not getting Scottie. You're my favorite player in the league. Go fuck yourself. That's literally my response. And thank God Bobby Webster is not as emotional as I am. Okay. But I wouldn't do it. Okay. Win-loss predictions, upside and downside. So I want a maximum, minimum. What is the most that this team can win? What is the least that this team can win?
I think max 49. I think they're a better team than the team that we went 48 with, like top to bottom, deeper. And I think the East is in a worse state right now than it was when we won 48. So I think that 49, I mean, maybe even 50, that would be everything clicking. That would be that. And then worst case, injuries, everything, 36. I think, so many things went
literally exactly mine, 36 to 50. You're at 36 to 49. Okay. We're 100% on the same.
Beautiful.
Biggest swing factor determining upside and downside outcomes, you say injuries?
I would say injuries definitely for the downside, but I think like swing factor is, I want to say like Grady could be a crazy swing factor, because if he is a dynamic scorer off the bench and we are no longer losing bench minutes, like I talked about it on a pod before, it was like you have to go back like 6 years to where we didn't, when you look at all lineup data and you just like very simply, you say no starters on the floor, what's your plus minus? You have to go like 6 years back for us to have over 0, for us to have a positive. So the bench winning minutes, just even a +1 across the way as the bench raises the floor of this team like crazy. And maybe that could be a guy like Grady leading that. What do you think?
I think if the starting lineup loses minutes the way they did last year, granted Grady was a member of the starting lineup, but I think they lost their minutes by like 9 points per 100 in the limited minutes they did play. They didn't play a lot of minutes, but they were bad.
Yeah.
To put into context, the Raptors starting lineup lost minutes at the same rate as the Nuggets bench.
Great.
It's really bad. Now, granted, the Nuggets bench played against opposing benches in the Raptors, but it's fair to say the Raptors starting lineup last year was the starting lineups of Nuggets bench.
Yeah. Honestly,
or the Nuggets, they were the Nuggets bench of starting lineups. That's the correct thing. English, Rob, English. Okay, English my second language. Okay, so that is the thing. So I think that if the starting lineup can work a little bit smoother with Ingram, and obviously Ingram is a huge upgrade on Grady Dick. Defensively, offensively, he does everything better than him. And in fact, they have a lot in common, weirdly enough. They're
Very
both
much,
large, they're both smart. They both have a lot of gravity. They both can move without the basketball. Ingram is not nearly as high motor as Grady, and nor is he as young, but he's also a much better defender and a much larger athlete who can suck up a lot more space in the gap. So I think Ingram stabilizes that offense, and also he gets a lot of attention. I actually think Ingram and Grady are going to work really well together. I think Ingram and CMB are going to work together. What I like about the Raptors' three major additions this offseason, and I'm not counting Elijah Martin and stuff, is that they are extremely connective pieces.
Very much,
Brandon Ingram is being misrepresented to the Toronto fans, I believe, by the media as some sort of Kawhi redux. He is a much better passer than Kawhi.
Yeah.
Easily. He's a much worse defender than Kawhi, and he's a much
Yeah.
less efficient shot maker than Kawhi, and he's a worse shooter than Kawhi and all that stuff. But he's just a totally different player. People need to re-examine who Brandon Ingram is, and I think a lot of people in Toronto just haven't watched him play, and they get the reputation as KD. He's not KD. He's a better passer than KD too.
Yeah.
He
really
like
likes to get
forward.
people in. Yeah, he really likes to get
forward.
people involved. He's all about it. He likes, like, the same way that like Scottie really enjoys to have his teammates succeed. He does that, but he also just happens to be a very talented scorer, so he gets told to shoot a hell of a lot more. But yeah, he's and like we've already seen it. Like, he makes excellent reads, and he I mean, last night he had 1 or 2 passes that were kind of thrown to no man's land. That happens. Whatever, right? But yeah, no, I agree. I think yeah, he's a lot more than just like he's this bucket guy.
Absolutely. Okay. Tell me about your channel, RaptorShaq, man.
Yeah, so
we're gonna actually play a little bit of trivia after this, just in case you have, like, if you have 5 extra minutes, I want to do a quick trivia.
Totally.
But like, yeah, like we're gonna play a little bit of a Raptors Scottie trivia. But yes, like
Absolutely.
tell me about the channel, how it started, your social media journey, and what are you trying to do with the channel? And if people decide to go follow you, what are they expecting? How often do you upload? What kind of videos do you like to do?
Yeah, so maybe a couple months back, I started finally posting some YouTube videos, and I wanted to do video content for a couple years, but yeah, I didn't have a good setup, and I was not that comfortable on camera and stuff like that, right? So most of my kind of integration into like Raptors content and the Raptors community and stuff was just done through Twitter. And I mean, honestly, before I jumped on Twitter, I was kind of just like talking about it casually on Reddit, and then Reddit was down for like a day. So I was like, oh, join Twitter. I don't even really know. And it was just so much, I don't know, more engaged and all that, and more like it felt more primary than what Reddit was. So really like jumping on that. And in terms of the kind of videos that I do, um, I like to kind of I don't want just like a basic story that I'm trying to tell here. I'm trying to look for something that maybe is a bit of a unique angle on something. And then like growing up, I really like these 30 for 30 docs, and I really like documentary style. And I guess my videos are my attempt at that with my limited knowledge of editing and my limited kind of capability for that stuff as it is right now. But it's very much like I don't know if you know who Jimmy High Roller is, YouTuber, right? So like I watched a lot of his videos and stuff growing up, and I really like being able to kind of communicate a feeling and stuff with videos. And I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get across, right? Like the video that I made on RJ Barrett, it was very much trying to educate about why I think that they want to trade him, but in a humanized way that really kind of honors who he is as a person and as a player and everything like that, and respects that. Because I think a lot of sport media goes too far in the way that they commoditize these players, and they don't see them as humans. So I mean, and something I enjoy about your content is how you kind of take it beyond just the game, and you look at kind of like social aspects and stuff of it as well. And I like to try to bring that into it essentially as well. And as far as just like my other content and everything like that, you know, I make some shorts, some TikTok, some kind of fun stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm just a fan, just trying to give my perspective on these things, and have a lot of fun as I do it, you know?
Yeah. To people who haven't checked out the channel, this is what the channel looks like. I think your thumbnails are freaking badass. Like,
oh, thank you.
I think
thank you so
they're
much.
really, really good. And the fact
Appreciate
that
that.
you managed to rack up nearly 500 subscribers through 18 videos. I remember actually when I first shouted out your videos, because I follow you on socials, and I first shouted out your videos, and I said that I actually remember the last time I shouted out a content creator in the Raptor space. And do you know who that content creator was?
No, who?
Goateology.
Oh, he is killing it too.
Yeah. So he
wow, thank you.
was a member of our community. So shout outs to Goat. And he made a video, Scottie, The Secret Life of Scottie Barnes or something. And that was like the first video. And this video had like 2 views. And I was like, dude, this guy is going to be
His content is way too good for.
This is so amazing. And so I started randomly talking about this video, and then he hits me up and he's like, dude, I watch all of your videos. I'm part of your community. You're like, you got me into this. And I'm like, what?
That's awesome.
I just watched his growth, and I was like, when I saw his second video, I was like, this guy's going to be 100,000, 200,000. I will give you a prediction right now. I think you will have 50,000 subscribers within 3 years if you keep doing what you're doing right now. You're doing a great job. I think you're going to be really, really good in this space, man.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. Like, honestly,
that
means a lot. Yeah, coming from you, who's just been such a consistent creator throughout the space, and I just appreciate your work ethic and your consistency. Like, it is hard to be consistent. You know, coming up with themes, ideas, everything like that. So I respect that so much about you and how you've been able to consistently do that over years and build a community and everything like that. It is a testament to that. So yeah.
We only have 144 live viewers right now. So I will say to you, 144 live viewers, if you all go and subscribe right now, we will clip 500 subscribers. If you're watching this later, at RaptorShaq 500, I will tell you right now, as someone who, you know, I pride myself on being early on things. As you know, like, I'm a scout. I worked at a hedge fund. Believe me, my entire life has been about, like, I see the potential in this thing. You will be able to tell people years and years from now. Imagine being like the person who's like, I was one of the first 500 people to subscribe to Jimmy High Roller. Cool. I was one of the first. I can actually tell you, actually, here's something to brag about. I was the second subscriber to Goateology.
Wow.
Okay. Middle finger to the fucking world. I knew what Goateology was going to be, bro. So it's cool to be early on things. Go be early to RaptorShaq. And, you know, 3 years from now, when this is like this mega huge channel that's actually doing good shit, you will actually be like, oh, we got up 5. Yeah.
Wow, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So yes, definitely go and support Karen Hall saying already subscribed, and
thank you,
Raptors Report too. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yes. I must say, when I started out in the Raptor space, there were some content creators that I really, really disliked. I'm always 100. If I don't like you, I'm going to tell you I don't like you. Yeah. And I told them straight up to their face, I'm like, y'all make garbage fucking content. And I honestly wish you didn't exist. And people were like, hey, he's so angry. I'm like, I'm not angry. I'm honest. A lot of people don't like your content. They just don't tell you. I love that since I've been in this space, I've seen so many good content creators come into the space. Raptors Report, yourself, Raptors Moments. I would call it the resurgence of Raptors Republic, which is like a different version of Raptors Republic now with Louis Satzman and Samson Folk. Guys, like, Raptors Republic was like chugging along for a while with a lot of different faces and a lot of misdirection for a while, and now I just feel like they're so much better. So I love that more people cover the Raptors in a good way. I think the important thing here is not to approach this from a zero-sum thing. Like, we're not competing with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
We are one community, and the more educated our fan base can be, I think the better off we all are. Let's play a little bit of Raptors trivia. I'm gonna give you 6 players.
Okay.
And no, I'm gonna give you 10 players. I'm gonna give you 10 players, and you tell me through their first 4 years if Scottie Barnes averaged more points than these players.
Okay.
LeBron James versus Scottie Barnes, who averaged more points through their first 4 years.
Oh, LeBron. I gotta be
correct.
LeBron. Okay.
Correct. So we're gonna count your corrects. Okay. Carmelo Anthony versus Scottie Barnes, who averaged more points through their first 4 years.
I want to say Melo.
You are correct.
Okay.
RJ Barrett versus Scottie Barnes through their first 4 years, who averaged more points.
He scored a lot right away, I think. I wonder what his rookie. I don't remember what his rookie year, but I'll say RJ.
You are correct.
Okay,
by 1.
By 1.
It was by 1. It was like 18.1 versus 17.2. Okay. Scottie Pippen versus Scottie Barnes, who averaged more points.
I'm thinking time and era. Scottie Barnes.
Correct. You're 4 for 4. Giannis Antetokounmpo or Scottie Barnes?
I think Scottie.
You are correct. You are 5 for 5.
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard or Scottie Barnes through their first 4 years, who averaged more points?
I think Scottie as well.
You are correct. You are now 6 for 6. This is ridiculous. You are actually doing better at this than anyone I've ever seen in my life. This is crazy.
Because I've made these arguments when people are impatient. I'm like, there are a lot of great players who weren't what they were by age 24. So relax. Okay, go on.
Brandon Ingram or Scottie Barnes?
I would think BI.
Your first incorrect.
Ah,
Your
really?
first incorrect. Yes. Scottie Barnes
That's
averaged more points
surprising.
per game. It is surprising. So you still got 6 out of
Mhm.
7. You're very good. Okay. Dwayne Wade or Scottie Barnes?
Now I'm overthinking it.
Are you?
Scottie.
You are incorrect.
I
You're in a
went bold with
spiral.
that.
You're in a spiral. I'm gonna give you like a second to just towel off and just
Yeah,
like recompose yourself and be like, okay, I don't
exactly.
have
I'm
to.
like up is down now. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
because Brandon Ingram averaging more points is just like it's very very destabilizing.
Yeah. Okay.
Scottie
All right.
Barnes are. Hold on. I actually don't know the answer to this question myself, so let me just quickly just search this up. I want to make sure that I'm not misleading you. Otherwise, we end up in an Akil Augustine, media day situation in which we keep telling people, shout out to Akil. I reached out to him and, we cleared it up. Okay. Pascal Siakam or Scottie Barnes, first 4 years. Who you got?
I think Scottie.
By a
Now, wait,
very, very
maybe that,
wide margin, by the way.
yeah, because, and it's interesting.
17.2
Yeah.
versus 12.8.
And how old was Pascal when he was drafted? 23 or 24?
22.
22?
And Scottie was
Right.
19.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pascal was also late. He also made
Yep.
one All-NBA team within his first 4 years. So
Mhm.
I think, yeah. Kyle Lowry or Scottie Barnes?
Now, his first couple years with Houston, Memphis, I feel like he was like a bit struggling, a bit maligned. I'll say Scottie.
It's not even close. So yeah, it's so far off. Like
Yeah.
I don't think Kyle ever had a 4-year stretch where he averaged more than Scottie's averaged the last 4 years. Like it would be right in his peak if there was.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you overall I believe went 8 for 10. I
Not
wasn't keeping
bad.
count, but that's very, very good. I feel like
Thank you.
most people would have stumbled on Giannis.
Yeah.
Most people do stumble on Giannis
Yeah.
because they're just like they can't imagine a world in which Scottie Barnes scored more than Giannis at any point ever.
But
Like
they forget how raw Giannis was. Like he was incredibly raw. And they did the whatever Jason Kidd put him as point guard and said, we got to throw him in the fire and get his handle better and get and they did an experimental year with him. Right. So like this is the kind of things you do with these players when they're a development guy. You're like, okay, let's throw him in feet first and see what happens. Right.
I'm gonna give you a bonus one.
Okay.
Nikola Jokic or Scottie Barnes?
Okay. Now there was once a time where they were trying to decide between him and some other backup center. I can't remember who.
Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah, that's crazy where they are right now. I'm gonna say Scottie because of that, because what we know as Jokic today was not Jokic at that,
Yeah, I just want to give you, so now you got 9. I'm giving you 2 bonuses so that you can get 10 out of 10. This is cheating 100%. I'll give you a final one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Scottie Barnes. And this is the final one. First 4 years, Shai versus Scottie. Who you got?
Okay. Scottie.
It's Shai.
Yeah. Okay.
18.2 versus 17.2. It ain't far.
Because his third and fourth year were really good, right? Like, that's when he started ramping up. Yeah.
Yeah. So RaptorShaq, Steve, I'm so happy to have you on. We're gonna do like final rapid fire questions. If you're still around, if you got to go, I think we've already extended your time a lot, but
it's okay.
Gavin Van Wold said, "Hell yeah, RaptorShaq in the house. Let's get Julian too." Dope. Is that the Raptors report?
Yeah, that would be my my co-host there on Raptors report. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much for the members chat. Red Salute. Do you think there's any chance that Grady can improve defensively? Otherwise, I think he may not have a future here. Defense, offense, defense first, OKC model. I'll leave this question for you and I'll chime in if I need to.
I think he can improve defensively. I think he can improve off ball defensively because that is more understanding and less so the physicality of it. And I think he can be tenable in an aggressive defense where there's less time in a half court where somebody goes, which we've heard enough players talk about it where they're like, if you are a white shooter, you are picked on by these guys. We saw it, I think, last season where it was clutch moment and De'Aaron Fox went, I'm going at Grady. And Grady stood his ground and he made the stop. He can have flashes, but more so I'm talking about off ball. He can improve. He can improve with his strength. I think he can be tenable in now. I mean, if you compare it to like OKC, yeah, he probably can't be in that lineup because they have so much talent, but I think he can be tenable in a Raptors defense lineup. Yeah.
Amazing. I have concerns about his off-ball awareness.
Yeah.
Like there was a play where the other day where it's a tip out. It's small things, right?
Mhm.
Tip out, pass. He's not boxing out, and Nolan Traore beats him for an offensive rebound.
Yeah, that can't happen. Yeah.
I like players who like physicality.
Yeah.
CMB loves physicality. Carter Bryant, who I love during the pre-draft, loves physicality.
Yeah.
Scottie Barnes, physicality. Grady, sometimes a little bit too finesse for me. I need him to get tougher when it comes to putting a body on a guy. I understand some of that comes with maturation, age. We just talked about so many players through their first 4 years. You're right.
Yep.
It comes and goes for different guys. If you tell me Grady averages 8 points per game through his first 4 years or 10 points per game through his first 4 years and then 22 points per game through his next 4 years, I'm not shocked because prior to the age of 24, that jump can come at any time.
Yep.
I think Grady's additional strength, I hope he can keep it this time because he's had a positive stretch and a negative stretch to each of his 2 seasons so far.
Yep.
And both of his positive stretches have come with more weight and both of his negative stretches have come when he's lost the weight. So
that's a good point.
Red Salute said Markkanen over White in terms of fit for us. I love Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine. There's a lot of players that I like next to Scottie. How do you feel about Lauri Markkanen very quickly?
I think that kind of shooting with that kind of size, excellent for your lineups. I think the fit would be excellent. The cost would probably be pretty tough because it's Utah, right? So they're going to be looking for a lot of picks. But if the Raptors decide that's their guy and they want to push their picks in and they think that he's the game changer, I'm open to it.
What if they offered you a deal for Markkanen for Dick, CMB, and IQ's contract? Would you do it?
Oh, that's tough with the CMB, but you got to figure out a guard fix essentially.
What if they threw back? What if they threw back Keontae George or something for you, or like Isaiah Collier or something like that?
I would do it. I would do it because I think that kind of shooting with that size improves the lineup overall. It would suck to pull the cord on CMB, but I think he improves the lineup. I think it rounds out maybe some of their weaknesses, right?
Yeah, I would be reluctant to get rid of CMB, but any deal involving Dick and IQ to get Markkanen, in my opinion, with maybe a pick involved, I think I would do. I'd be reluctant to get rid of CMB because I think your defense is really going to need him, and I also really love him with Markkanen. Like the idea of him screening for Markkanen reading out of the pick and roll, having an inverted pick and roll between those two. The plus side of having Markkanen develop under Darko, because I know that Darko is like going to make him a better playmaker. It would be a cheat code, and having CMB be a part of that would be very important. I think Grady would be less important in that situation because you're replacing so much of the movement shooting and stuff with him. Ivan said, what would you actually do? I literally just said it. That's exactly what I would do. This is such a gross scenario. Can we please move on? Red Salute did not like the trading Scottie thing. I feel like I would assume it was more of a 2 guard than a 1. I think positions are dead, and people have been calling Scottie a PowerPoint, whatever the hell that means. It's a PowerPoint. I think, sure. Like I think I personally think Scottie's a guard. Some people think he's a forward. I was literally going back and forth with your co-host this morning on Twitter about whether he's a power forward or whether he's a guard. Honestly, he's a good basketball player. He can play everywhere on the court, and I think that's kind of where we're going. What is Shea? Is he a point guard, 2 guard, 3 guard? What is Aaron Gordon? Is he a 3, a 4, or sometimes he's bringing up the ball? He's a 1. Is Jokic a 1 or a 5? Like is Draymond a 1 or 5? Like
OKC had J-Dub at like 6'6" playing center for when they needed, right? Like it's like,
and they were good.
Yeah, exactly, right. So you've got these versatile players. Like one of Scottie's biggest strengths is being versatile and being able to fill holes. Like they've used him. Every different coach has said, "We've got this problem. I'm going to leave it to Scottie to solve it, right? So that's kind of the benefit of him. He's had a lot of productive stretches as a guard. He's had some productive stretches as a forward. He gets to take advantage of more of his advantages, essentially, as a guard, right?
Absolutely.
So
And
I think,
there's a couple of questions from Twitter that were posted in the thread. So what development would you like to see Dick, Shed, and Jacoby showcase this season is something they need to work on? I think we touched on a lot of this throughout the context of the conversation. But if there's anything you want to add to anything, like, we talked about Jacoby's strength, we talked about Shed's shooting, we talked about Grady Dick being more physical and keeping on the weight and being a good defender. Is there something that we didn't talk about with these three guys that you would want to mention?
probably Jacoby being able to attack closeouts a bit better, get the ball on the floor a bit better, because he has struggled a little bit with that. And I do believe there's more to his, like, he's the kind of guy that when he gets inside, he's got some decent footwork and some decent step through moves and stuff where he kind of relies on that more than his handle.
Right.
So I'd like to see him be able to just put the ball on the floor a little bit when he gets closed out and attack inside. And having strength would really help him be able to actually get inside.
Absolutely. Mustache Scottie, favorite, name on Twitter, Mustache Scottie. And, he has a picture of Mustache Scottie. I want you both to name which all-star and which non-all-star would be your dream pairing with Scottie Barnes. I think Tyler Hero would be perfect, help out on the offensive end a ton while still allowing Scottie to be the primary ball handler. Jalen Suggs would be awesome too. Thoughts on Tyler Hero with Scottie Barnes or Jalen Suggs with Scottie Barnes?
I would prefer Jalen Suggs and Scottie Barnes for his level of insanity and his defense. He's probably the player that I would put as closest to a modern Lowry, maybe, other than like Drew Holiday, who's still kicking it. But like he's physical. His shot comes and goes, but when it's hitting, he's a very productive player. His health has been a little bit up and down, but I would probably rather him over Hero, because Hero I think of more similar to a guy like Quickly, but I do like his shooting. In terms of players that I would pick to put next to him, if you give like a Darius Garland or something as his point guard, or a pass first point guard, like Darius Garland makes Evan Mobley look incredible. Evan Mobley is awesome, but Darius Garland getting downhill, actually making the reads, hitting his guy in the dunker spot, or even like, I'm not completely sold on Trae Young entirely as is by himself, but look at what he does for Jalen Johnson, right? Like, he does a lot of, like, to get a guard that does a lot of the footwork to actually get them in the good position could really have a substantially positive impact on Scottie. What about you?
I would love Jalen Suggs next to Scottie. I don't think Jalen Suggs compares well to Kyle Lowry necessarily. I think he's more like like a 6 foot. I don't know how to explain it. Like, he's what's up?
No, I just laugh at. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I don't know how to compare him to a player. Like, he is his own animal. Like, first of all, I was very, very mad at Jalen Suggs for about a year and a half, because people in Toronto media just kept comparing Scottie Barnes to him and just annoyed me. But after I got over that, I just came to love Jalen Suggs as a basketball player, not as a Scottie replacement at the 4th overall pick, but just as what he is, which is an awesome ass role player.
Yeah.
So with Suggs, like, the intensity, if he ever shaves his head,
he needs to unlock
he will unlock
exactly
the full potential of bald Mamba.
Yeah.
Like, he will be, like, this sounds crazy to say, but like, his defensive impact is like Michael Jordan meets Dwayne Wade type of defensive impact. Like 6'4", right?
Yeah.
Just like, like, he just needs to lose the hair. I feel like,
and if you look
maybe,
at like
maybe the scraggly hair is kind of like part of the defensive impact of like scaring people, with his hairline.
But look at like how it unlocked Derek White, right? When he was nightmarish, and once he shaved that, he really unlocked himself. Like, if you look at the early 2000s or the 90s, everybody was bald. It was no problem. So like, I don't know why everyone's afraid of it now. I don't know why Devin Carter won't let it go. I don't know why some of these guys just won't let it go.
I absolutely agree. And like, I mean, I love the idea of pairing him. I wouldn't mind having someone like Lonzo Ball as a low cost, type of thing with Scottie, because just another smart player who can move off the ball, hit threes, whatever.
Yeah.
As a total like wild card, Jabari Smith would be interesting. I would really like Jabari Smith as a draft.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he was ever available, Dyson Daniels, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy would be my dream pairing with Scottie. But his defense was really concerning last year, and I just like spacing and live wire athletes, you know, transition athletes and stuff. So that would be my thing. To everyone saying, you know, you should pin his channel in the chat, guys. I promise you, as lazy as you can be in the history, like I know in 2025 we were all like, give me the easiest way. I did put it in the description, so just click description. It's the first thing. Follow RaptorShaq. His social is there, his YouTube channel is there, and if that is too hard for you, if you search RaptorsShaq, you will get his videos, some like channel, and probably Shaquille O'Neal dunking on the Raptors from 1999 or something. Tony has said subbed. I mean, we're at 449. Where are we at here? Hold on, let me just see here. Where are we at? We're 449.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody who is subbed. I really appreciate that so much.
Yeah, we're at 449. Hopefully, by the time this video gets out and is watched by more people tonight, and hopefully tomorrow, we get you past 500 easily.
Thank you.
And then, you know, as they say with money, the first 1,000 is the hardest. I think that happens with YouTube as well.
Yeah.
I will say this, like the way that you're working, like it's hard to work this hard before your channel is monetized. A lot of people don't grow because they refuse to take their channel seriously, in my opinion. Again, there's like a professional pride, right, that comes with my content must be well researched, my content must be well edited, whatever. But there's also a natural laziness that comes with, why would I put 9 hours for a video that might be seen by 50, 80 people because the algorithm isn't picking me up yet? And will generate me $0.
Exactly. And it can be deflating. Like you can make a video that you're like, this really rocks, and then it's like doesn't hit. You're like, is it me? But it's just the algorithm, it's just whatever. And you try to learn from it and stuff, right? So I'm just thankful for anybody who does watch it, because I just like doing you know, what I can to kind of show my love for the sport and engagement and stuff. And I just really love talking basketball with people. So any chance that I have, like you having me on, big appreciation. Like I really respect you and thank you so much for that, and plugging the channel and everything. That is huge.
My pleasure. Yeah, we got 453. It's gonna keep going like this, and hopefully, you know, y'all can keep supporting RaptorShaq. Please go like the videos. Please go watch the videos. Actually, these are there's a lot of evergreen. I would say there's like a little bit of evergreen. It's not like, guys, I can't believe the biggest news in the world just happened. Julian Reese has been waived. That's the video you won't see on RaptorShaq.
Yeah,
and I
no red arrow, green arrow.
So, you know, absolutely. And William Chen said, seems like a genuine dude, a cool dude. Subscribe.
Thank you so
LeVar
much.
Ball. Shout outs to LeVar. We mentioned LaMelo. Did we mention LaMelo Ball? I was thinking about LaMelo Ball.
No, but we mentioned Lonzo. So
we did mention Lonzo. I was about to mention LaMelo, and then boom, LeVar Ball. RaptorShaq is a real person. What the fuck? Thought that Twitter pic was AI.
No,
yes,
that is
also,
me.
Yuffie saying he is also in Raptor support. He is. And yeah, so thanks a lot, Steve, for coming on. Appreciate you. And really nice to know that you have Aussies too. That's pretty dope. And you're at 455. Yeah,
awesome.
You know, I'm just obsessive. Like I'm gonna refresh this like 2 hours from now. Okay, peace.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
see you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers. Okay. Really awesome to have Steve on. That was a dope conversation. If you like that, you can definitely find a lot more of Steve's thoughts on his channel. If you are not someone who wants to subscribe to his YouTube channel, you can also subscribe. You are someone who wants to subscribe to his YouTube channel. You can also go check out his X channel, where he is posting a lot. He's a very active guy. And quite frankly, I don't agree with everything. I don't think anyone agrees on everything. But I find him to be very reasonable and very logical, and I'm really, really happy that I was able to do this, you know, Raptor season preview with him. Really wanted to do it with him, and I've been checking out his videos on the Raptors Report. Definitely go check them out. They've been doing some really good stuff as well. So shout out to Steve, and shout out to all of you who are supporting that channel, and shout out to all of you who are supporting us. I really appreciate you spending your Saturday night with me, and shout outs to our members, and shout outs to our new member, We the North. Dope name. I can't believe that wasn't taken. How the hell is that not taken? Are you a famous person? That's awesome. And Gavin Van Wold, thank you so much. Red salute. Thanks again, man, for all of you guys. And please hit like on this video. Let's see if we can get this video up to 250 likes. And let's see if we can get RaptorShaq up to, is it realistic to say 700 subscribers tomorrow? Is that too ambitious? Okay. If you want to do me a favor, get them to 700 subscribers. I know that you guys will enjoy the content, so it's not like that buy followers bullshit. You guys will like the content, I promise. Talk to y'all later. Peace. Oh, holy shit. Susan Garrett, one of our VIP members, spamming, it's not spamming. What am I saying? Wow. Spamming a super chat, giving us a super chat, giving us a beat the buzzer, Michael Jordan, you know, Kawhi Leonard at the corner, game's about to end. Super chat here, $27.99. Excellent chemistry between you two dog lovers. Thank you very, very much, Susan. And thank you to everyone in this community. Foil saying 700, a little bit too much, to be honest. I'm gonna do some quick math for you, my friend. I'm gonna do some quick math for you. Let me prove it to you that it's not too much. Okay, we got 13,500 subscribers. Okay, that's a lot of subscribers. We have 135 people watching right now. If 135 people watching right now all subscribe, that would help. But I guarantee you this video is going to get at least 2,000 to 3,000 views if 15% of the people who watch this video subscribe to RaptorShaq, because it is exactly the type of content that you're already into, then 700 will be achievable. I didn't say in one day. I said until tomorrow. You have until tomorrow. Just, you know, too much hogwash. You know what, chat? If you would like to prove Foil wrong, go and subscribe to RaptorShaq. How about that? Can y'all do that? I want to prove that Foil is wrong and that I am right. Okay, talk to y'all later. Enjoy. Bye-bye.